Vladimir Putin is training the next generation of Russian soldiers to fight until they die. Russian viewers have become accustomed to seeing children as young as 6 strutting across their TV screens, into their classrooms, and through city squares on holidays dressed in immaculate khaki pants, red branded t-shirts, and red berets. Every time Vladimir Putin, Dmitry Medvedev, or Sergei Lavrov attend a public event in Russia, a child in uniform inevitably appears at their side. The Russian government claims that these children, who are all members of the terrifying paramilitary youth group known as the Youth Army, will defend Russian civilization in the upcoming global existential war that has already begun in Ukraine. In 2016, the Defense Ministry of the country established the Youth Army, which has since rapidly grown in size. Its current membership of 1.3 million people are being taught that their nation is in danger from every side, that only war can bring peace, and that there is no greater feat than dying for the motherland. At first glance, the Youth Army appears to be modeling itself after the Hitler Youth or the Soviet pioneers with its uniformed children, constant military training, and active preparation for careers in the nation's army. But there is a catch to Putin's Youth Army, a surprisingly high-tech online presence that recruits naive youth into Russia's perverse military establishment. With a barrage of humorous memes, online games, and TikTok-style videos, the Youth Army manages to make the tragic reality of deaths on the battlefield seem more hopeful. For example, the group's official TikTok account recently shared a video shot in the city of Tver, in honor of the May 9th holiday, on which Russians commemorate the day they defeated Hitler's Germany. At a military parade, a young man in uniform appears to have just returned from the front. Teenage girl in Youth Army uniform blushes with embarrassment and joy as her boyfriend gets down on one knee to propose. The onlookers cheer enthusiastically as she accepts. Teenage soldiers and Kremlin-paid celebrities and influencers repeat the message in hundreds of videos slowly released to young Russian social media feeds. The Youth Army is not a place to go if you want to be killed in the kind of war that most young Russians abhor. As the saying goes, dreams do come true, there. This social media sheen conceals a more sinister message, however, that the best Russians are those willing to die for their country. A teen, young soldier, tells the story of 2 young soldiers, one from World War II and one from today's war against Ukraine in a video posted this month and already viewed by almost 10,000 users on VK, a Facebook clone popular in Russia. They both perform heroic acts before being killed while fighting fascists. Putin has instituted a national holiday in which modern-day heroes are honored with the same reverence as the saintly martyrs of Russia's Second World War. The website of the Youth Army features a alley of memory dedicated to the many members who have lost their lives in battle, making it easy to venerate them as military saints. Dead people's faces stare unblinkingly out of the screen, like holy icons for the youth of Russia to worship and imitate. Deaths among former members of the Ukrainian Youth Army are being covered up. Nikita Nedzelsky, a 20-year-old volunteer drone operator, died earlier this year while fighting in Russia's aggressive war in Ukraine, and for a short time the news in the Siberian town of Noyabrisk, a sorry place almost 1,400 miles from Moscow, was consumed entirely by stories about his death. Nedzelsky's mother accepted a posthumous medal on her son's behalf, a scene that has become all too common in Russia as the death toll rises for Putin's faltering forces. Members of the Youth Army attended the ceremony and proudly stood at attention as they paid their respects alongside the press, civic leaders, veterans, and schoolchildren. Today, however, was not a day of melancholy. It was a time of great national pride. The local media flooded the internet with videos and articles praising Nedzelsky for his virtuous life. His teachers, classmates, and family members all gave interviews. Young soldiers sprang into action after reading online materials that were re-shared by the local Youth Army unit and declared, "They're getting slaughtered by the fascists. The Yanks have turned Ukraine into an anti-Russia." The local unit of the Youth Army has been rechristened the Nedzelskis in his honor. Young Russians are constantly reminded that men like Nikita Nedzelsky, who died in a pointless war of aggression, are the state's favorite heroes through a steady stream of digital propaganda that encourages them to join the Youth Army. Unlike the revamped patriotic school curriculum, blatantly unsubtle TV propaganda, and public denunciations and trials, the state may have found something online that is far more appealing to young people. The young soldiers of this organization are destined for greater than just fame and love. Anyone who enlists and gives their all for the motherland has the chance to be canonized as a Russian military hero after they die. The fate of Vladimir Putin and his presidency hangs in the balance. The dictator's weak position has been exposed, thanks to Yevgeny Prigozhin's march on Moscow. But young Russians will not easily unlearn the militarism that is sweeping the country if they are taught that their country's war is existential and their fallen are saintly. The West must remain vigilant. Putin isn't just assembling a military to invade Ukraine. His military apparatus is built to last for many battles to come. When it comes to Russian culture and war propaganda, Ian Garner is your man. Z Generation. Deep inside Russia's fascist youth is his authored work.